Hello, everybody. We're live. It's just me tonight. No Greg. Greggy had some what he calls, in quotes, personal business going on today. I guess I could, grant him 1 week off. The prick. And I'm not much for airing anybody's, again, quote unquote, dirty laundry. But I figured, he's my friend. He's all of our friends. He's Greg, America's favorite co-host himself. I figured I would just let everybody know, because I'm excited that Greg's pregnant. Okay, he's a couple months along. He's gonna be a dad mom combo. He's like kind of a weird experiment right now. Not judging, not, free spirit, open mind here, as Greg would say. But yeah, he's having a child, probably another girl boy like he is, evidently, because he's, pregnant. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend emailing him and, letting him know congratulations on the child, because it's huge news. Like, I don't know if anybody realizes how rare it is for a guy to get pregnant, but holy shit, right? I mean, like, he's like an experiment. That's not supposed to happen at all. Like, you're supposed to have two different people. But Greg is just he's just so full of love that he turned his love inward. Don't picture that. And, a couple months ago, he called me up and said, "Hey, man, I'm having a girl boy." And I'm like, "Holy shit, you're a guy girl boy? I fucked that up?" And he was like, "Totally. You didn't know?" So that's it. He's pregnant. I'm just really happy for him. And if anybody, wants to congratulate him, you can always
email us at john@thejohnbrownshow.com or greg@thejohnbrownshow.com for advice, you silly bitches.
You heard the man. You heard the man. Yeah. So yeah, Greg's not going to be here tonight. It's just me. This is probably going to be terrible. Just going to throw that out. Haven't done a solo show in a long time. I don't know how to talk to nobody. And that's not improper English. Like, if I were to try to say I don't know how to talk to anybody. No, I don't know how to talk to nobody. Right now, I don't even have headphones on. I'm just talking in an echoey, empty house. So, like, if there's a camera on me right now, it would just look really, really bizarre, because it would just be a guy railing into nothing about nothing, about his pregnant friend, who's also a guy. But maybe the weirdest part was when Greg said, he's like, "Dude, I don't think I'm going to be able to make the show. I got some personal business. I got a couple of things to take care of." When he said, "I got a couple of things to take care of," he was cupping his balls. That was really weird. It was almost like a wink, wink, nudge thing. So I don't know. The whole pregnancy thing might be a shit. I don't know. I guess we're just going to have to find out from Greg. But I do have a co-host. I mean, there's always the incorrigible, amazing, indescribable Computer Scott.
Hey, brother, what's up tonight?
Brother. Okay, I guess we can go that route. Yeah, I mean, I got my computer buddy here,
Greg's going to be a mummy.
A mummy? Oh, Computer Scott, what the fuck, dude? All right, I think Computer Scott's gonna fucking fail me tonight. But anyway, let's just get on with this goddamn thing. I'm gonna aim for 20 minutes of talking, and I can't guarantee that 20 minutes is even gonna be good. I just can't. If it goes longer, if it's all right, whatever. I'm a human train wreck as it is. It doesn't really matter, if it's recorded. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. The first 7 episodes of this goddamn podcast were me talking into a microphone about nothing. So what's one more? My buddy Greg. It's missing. He's missing. And I miss him. Greg, I miss you, man. I miss you. I'm 5 minutes in and I miss you. But hey, I run a tight ship. But hey, we all deserve some time off, right? So anyway, let's just get on with this goddamn thing, huh? So how are you guys doing out there, huh? Doing okay? I've been, as me and Greg have talked about in the last couple episodes, I've been training for arm wrestling. I have a big tournament coming up in Las Vegas at the last weekend of May, which doesn't give me a whole lot of time to get ready. Right? It's a decent amount of time, but it's not a ton of time. So I've been really just all over it. Just been trying to crush it as best I can. Jesse L, you're the fucking man. Just letting you know. He's on the chat right now, and I can do eat. I can. All right? Thank you. You're the man. Anyway, been training for arm wrestling. I'm really, really all in right now. I'm traveling, upwards of 2 hours just to train on a table with new guys and with just groups of other arm wrestlers. And it's really left me with like no time to live life in a lot of ways. You don't do things like read the news or, whatever. You just, every little moment that the little things in your life that take up an hour or even like even a half hour that you just do because you don't have anything to do. I don't have the time anymore where I don't have anything to do. There's never a time where I'm not fucking busy. I'm just fucking busy because I'm trying to get ready for this thing because, well, let's be honest, if I'm going to buy a plane ticket and go somewhere, I'm not going to be unprepared. So in a lot of ways, I've almost felt like this podcast is going to suffer because of that. I thought it was going to be like that with me and Greg doing the show, but actually it's been really good with me and Greg doing the show and me doing this type of thing just because maybe my brain is resting. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you ever heard of like how like sharks, if sharks stop swimming, they die. I don't know if you know that. The whole water gills breathe thing. It'd be like if we had to run or we would not die. Like if our lungs didn't suck air in, we would just have to run around with our mouths open. That's a shark. They have to they have to swim around with their dumb mouths open. And but that also leaves no time to sleep per se. Like we sleep with our mouths open, really. But sharks can't sleep because they die. And that's not the goal of being alive, dying. So what they actually do is they shut down their brains in different sections, right? So you might actually swim past a shark who's asleep, in theory. So I think it's almost the same way, where I'm not using those parts of my brains You're not fucking kidding. I'm not using it. What a fucking idiot. Anyway, Jesse L is asking, why didn't you get Alyssa or Brad on? Hey, buddy, I would have. It was really short notice. I found out today. Yeah, it was just a lot easier just to come on and try to do it myself. I didn't want to inconvenience anybody, I found out about maybe 11, 12 hours ago. So, you know how it is. Whatever. 1 week won't hurt anybody. I've just skip over this episode if it's not good. I won't be hurt. But anyway, I think I've kind of rested those parts of my brain. And when the once a week time comes to sit down and talk to my buddy Greg, those parts of my brain are really fresh, so I can just talk about things. I don't know how I'm talking about anything right now. I don't think I really am, but back to arm wrestling, I've just been training it like crazy, like to where other arm wrestlers think I'm out of my mind because I'm on the table 3 times a week and training outside of that. Like most arm wrestlers are once a week guys, and they believe that that's as much as you can really push it. And I don't really agree. But I'm trying to kind of test out some theories that I've had over the past few years that I've talked about a lot, which is I think the more you do anything, the better you get at it, even when it comes to high damaging activities. Like arm wrestling is a highly damaging activity. The joints do not appreciate it. Your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, they take huge amounts of damage every time you do the sport, especially if you're strong. And I believe that if you do things, even if they're highly damaging over and over and over again for a long period of time, you adapt to it. I believe you adapt to it to where you become that. You're not a person who arm wrestles. You're an arm wrestler. You're not a person who cuts down trees. You are a logger. You're not a basketball. You don't play basketball. You are a basketball player. Whatever it is, whatever thing whatever subject you are punishing yourself with, basically. And I really think it's that way with anything, with any high level, even mental or physical activity. I think you adapt to the high level of damage that you can take. And I think you heal faster from it. I think you end up taking less damage every time you do those things. And honestly, I really love the sport. And it's an absolute pleasure to try. Just to try to get better at it. It's a pleasure to try to get better at it. It's a pleasure to compete in it. It's a pleasure to teach newer athletes on how to do it, how to do it safely, how to do it, how to knock out some of the bad habits that they have, how to maybe even avoid some of the pitfalls that I have personally fallen into with the sport just through trial and error. Like, basically you can just try all these things and none of these things work, but these 3 things did. I think that it's all it's an absolute pleasure, and I'm very lucky that I found it because it's like anything else. It's fun. I never understood how people in this sport or in any kind of hobby or a niche, they describe what they do as what they love, and they love doing it, and they think it's great fun and all that. And then they're not really willing to put any time into it. It never really made any sense to me. And I've thought about it for a long time. And like, there's a lot of arm wrestlers that think I'm crazy for driving 2 hours to pull with a good team to get better. And I think it's absolute nonsense. I think it's crazy that you say you love something as much as you do, and you're willing to drive 2 hours for a concert or to go to the mall, but you're not willing to drive 2 hours for this thing that you supposedly really love doing. I think that's kind of I think that's bizarre. And it's not from a judgmental viewpoint. I just don't understand. And I think through thinking about it, that it comes down to 2 things. And it was kind of what I was saying before, which is, are you an arm wrestler or do you arm wrestle? Meaning, a person who arm wrestles is a person who arm wrestles. They are a person who enjoys enjoys the sport, but they're not going to be that. They're not going to. That's not going to be their thing. That's not going to be who they are. Whereas an arm wrestler, if you're an arm wrestler, that's what you are, and it's what you do. It's what you breathe. And it might be even for moments in time. It might be you do it for 3 months, and then you take a month break where you kind of relax, and then you do 3 months, you take another month to relax. That's fine. And honestly, it's fine either way. There's beautiful parts to being either one of those things. Because if you're somebody who is a person who enjoys arm wrestling, but you don't ever want to be the best, and you don't really, you don't want to dedicate your time and yourself to being like that. That's awesome. That's fine. You know, you still show up to practices and you still show up to tournaments and you're part of the community and you help the people who are arm wrestlers, the ones who dream of being the best and are willing to work to get there. You help them every week by getting them better. And then they help you by just being, you know, by including you in the community. So I think it's all good. I think it's all great. You just got to really ask yourself, what are you? And don't lie to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you say I am an arm wrestler, but then you don't act like it, then who are you trying to convince? You know, I have a hard time getting people to drive a half hour to train. A half hour would be, if I only had to drive a half hour to train, I would literally be able to train over 2 times as often as I do now. Just in sheer time and volume. It's bizarre to me that people look at a half hour drive as a burden to do something that they love doing. It's I can't quite understand it. I would love to have the conversation about it just to try to learn, because it's something that I can't quite wrap my head around. I mean, there's a lot of people that drive longer than that to jobs that they absolutely hate. And they're willing to do that every day. And I understand that there's money involved. I understand that everybody has a living to make. But this is supposedly what we do for, we love doing. And you can replace arm wrestling with anything. I don't give a fuck what it is. You know, if you really love it, it should be a pleasure to do it. And you should really look back and look at yourself and look at the situation and think, I'm really lucky to have that. There is no feeling sorry for yourself when it comes to, I can do this thing, but it's a pain in the ass. But it's this, but it's that. No, it's there. And you're really lucky that it's there, because there are a lot of people that don't have anything like that in their life. So if you do, and it's maybe a little further away for you, or it's a little harder for you than maybe the average person. Like for me, arm wrestling was very difficult for me in the beginning. I was, technically speaking, I was very strong. From a technical standpoint, meaning I picked up on how to arm wrestle very fast, but I had 0 horsepower. I had no strength in the sport at all. And it took a long time and a lot of losses, a lot of going to tournaments and losing, just no wins at all, getting my ass kicked. And then just keep showing up and keep showing up to practices 2 hours away, practicing twice a week when I had no business doing that, going to a tournament and driving to a practice the next day. That was a very regular thing for me when I was coming up, because I needed to cut my teeth. There was no getting it handed to me. It was just, this sport is not for those type of people. It's just not. But it was an absolute pleasure to go through that, because I was lucky to find it, because it gave me something that I didn't have before. Even if I ended up not liking it, there's a huge perspective to be gained just from knowing that kind of pain, knowing that kind of struggle, knowing that kind of hard work. And you'll find so many people in every hobby to look up to as far as being inspired by anything like that. So I'll get off of it. I really think that no matter what your thing is, maybe you should just look at yourself and see if you're pushing hard enough. And if you are, then keep going. But if you're not, then, you know, and you're kind of burnt out on it, then I think you should really look at yourself and maybe try to, you know, see what you can do to push, because we're all pretty lucky to find something that's a little odd and a lot of fun. There's a lot of people that don't have that shit. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't a funny podcast at all so far, is it? Oh, well. I'm not a particularly funny guy when I'm alone. You know, I'm funny when there's somebody, when I can, you know, almost pick on somebody or just feed off of somebody. Like me and Greg feed off each other very well. Probably because of the nearly 20 years of knowing each other. You know, that'll help things along. But the pregnancy again. Congrats. Hey, congrats, Greg. Congrats on the child. 2 months in, you're pregnant. You're pregnant. Can you believe that Greg Loman is fucking pregnant? I can't. And again, if you want to, congratulate him, you can always
Email us at john@thejohnbrownshow.com or greg@thejohnbrownshow.com for advice, you silly bitches.
I recommend you do also. Because this is big news for Greg. He's going to be having a child in 7 months. He will. Like, he didn't get someone pregnant. He is pregnant. Understand? Well, I wonder if does male pregnancy go 9 months too? I don't know. We're going to have him on and just discuss it. I don't know. Oh, boy. Oh, speaking of the Vegas trip, I'm having a hard time getting the time off of work to go to Las Vegas, which it's not a choice. I'm going. So, I mean, I guess it's not really, I guess I'm not having a hard time getting the time off of work as much as work is having a hard time accepting that I'm not going to be there. You know what I'm saying? And it's a bizarre, frustrating situation to be in. I'm a very low level worker at my position. I don't have an education. Oh, I have a high school degree, which means I don't have an education. Let's be honest. I'm an uneducated worker. That's what I do. I just work, right? I mean, that used to be. It's so bizarre because like back in the 50s and 60s, even like into the 70s and 80s, you could do my job and have a wife and 2 kids, and she could stay home, and you could be a comfortable family. It was really weird. Like when you look at it now, like how honestly affording life is a struggle for me. And I don't have a wife, I don't have kids, I don't have anything except for me. And affording life is difficult. I work a full-time job that I've been at for 11 years. I make products. I touched products that went into the Mars rover. You understand that? I make products for the government. And I have a hard time living because because I don't have an education, or because I have this, what we would call menial labor, right? Where I use my hands, I get dirty, all that kind of stuff, which I don't mind at all. I don't care. I don't know if I could ever wrap my head around the idea of having a career. I think I'll always just have a job. And I think all the things that like I see people working so hard at their career, and I think I do the same thing, but with things that I don't necessarily do for work. You know what I mean? And I get it. I mean, I understand why they work hard at their career. It makes them a good living, all that kind of stuff. And especially if you have a family, you might not even necessarily want to have that hardworking career, but if it pays the bills and it gives your family a good life, and you can pay your kids to go to college, then hey, man, that's pretty special stuff. I mean, I think it gets downplayed as not that special, but honestly, that's pretty special. But it's a strange thing how much, I don't want to say a corporation, but it's a corporation is almost like how a corporation is a country in a lot of ways, right? And how management in a corporation is kind of like the government, where it's this nameless, faceless thing where if you tell your boss, like, I can't believe this is going, like, why can't I get this time off? It doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm playing by the rules and you still won't give it to me. And then they just kind of like point up, like upstairs, like it's them. It's not me, dude. It's them. Well, who the fuck is them? Can I talk to them? Oh no. Oh, God, I'd have to set up a whole appointment. Oh man, it's just going to be so the busiest that they are. Them, you know, them. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, where I work, when you request time off, which I have earned time off, it's not something that they give. By having my tenure there, I've earned the right to have vacation time. So the way that they try to keep track and divvy up vacation time is simple. Okay, I'll explain it to you. They have paperwork that you fill out, and it's simple enough. You fill out the date that it is now, and then you fill out the dates that you'd like off, along with how many hours that would be. Okay, pretty simple. And then you hand it in to your boss. And what he does is he signs it off as approved, and then he gives you a copy back. So then everybody has a copy and everybody knows what's going on, right? Simple enough, no problem. Also, what goes along with vacation time where I work is that they want at least as much time as you're requesting off. They want that in advance. So, for example, I want a week off. They request that I ask at least 1 week in advance. Okay? Pretty simple. No problem. So, I requested time off a week ago for the last week in May. Okay? Now, excuse me. I requested 1 day off because that sounded bad. That sounded like I requested a week off. I requested 1 day off. And if I look at my calendar here, I'll tell you what day. I requested Thursday, May 28th off. Okay, so and this was a week ago. So a good 7 weeks ago, right? So I think I'm a little bit beyond, I think I'm in the boundary of it, right? Of the whole time period thing by like 40 days. They don't want to give it to me. They don't want to give it to me. Can you fucking believe that? I mean, and I told them I was very nice. And this is where I get in trouble because I think this is nice. I let them know that I won't be there and I would just really appreciate working with them on making that happen so that we're all happy. See, I think that's nice. I think it's nice that I'm going to do something and I'm not trying to blindside them. I'm just letting them know I'm going to do this thing. You have to be along for the ride. You can either sit there with your arms crossed and pout at me, or you can put your hands up like on that roller coaster and just whee the whole way down. And they'll snap your photo and you'll look funny and you'll post on your Facebook like, LOL, look at my face. You can do that. You can go down that roller coaster with your arms up and we can have a lot of fun. Or you can pout. I think they're going to pout. Right? I mean, that's how we do things as grown-ups most of the time. When we don't get what we want, we pout about it. Which is kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm not going to, say I'm not. But it's a weird thing because working for a company like this, they don't understand that I'm a human being. I'm a person. And I've earned certain rights in the corporation for being there for a long time and for being a good employee. And they don't want to honor those things because of the business. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but they don't understand that I'm a human. I can't just all the time go straight ahead without I have a life. They forget like how much of our lives we're giving to these people. And we're willing to do it for the check, and we're willing to do it for even the pride of making good products. Like that's a very underestimated, undersold point of, even if people are miserable at what they do, a lot of times they'll do a good job because they have pride. They're prideful in what they do because they don't want to feel like a piece of fucking shit when they do bad work. Now, obviously that goes up and down, right? For, person to person, but it's strange how this corporate entity doesn't ever give credit to where these human beings are giving up a big chunk of their life, and time off from that is very healthy. You might want to keep making your $1,000 a day off of me, which is what's happening. You're making a lot of money off of me, and that's fine. We have a deal worked out. But I need to get away, and I'm going to. I'm a grown fucking man. I'm 29 years old. I have a life. My life is not my job, and I'm trying to do this the right way. I always fuck that part up. Doing it the right way, I always fuck that part up. And really, that goes to like just life in general. Not that I'm a complete fuck up or anything, because I'm really not. But I've kind of I've gone back and thought about a lot of things, and I've never made the right decision when it comes to like basic life choices. I've never once made the right decision. And with that being said, I'm not that upset by that. It kind of has made it a little more fun. Like, there are certain things that I think that everybody should go through. And, it's things that a lot of those things aren't necessarily things that anybody wants to. Like, I sort of believe that everybody should go through like getting cheated on. I do think that everybody should feel that, because that's just a level of piece of shit that you just won't ever get anywhere else. Like, there's nobody in this planet that will ever make you feel worse by getting betrayed by them, than the person you're supposed to spend your life with, like that you chose to spend your life with. That just, you can't replicate that. That's a fucking level of holy shit, holy fuck balls hurt that you just can't replicate. It's things like that I think I've always made the decision that would later make my life tough. And I've done it at times intentionally, and I've done it most times unintentionally. But that means something, right? And that means something even when you break it down to the small parts of life. When it comes down to everyday interactions with people, I make tremendous errors a lot. And I try not to. Every one of my intentions are good. And there's a very small percentage of people on this planet that really gravitate towards that. Towards whatever the fuck that is. I don't even know what it would be. But there's a group of freaks out there that just love that shit, and I love them back for it. I don't know how I got here. I just stopped to think, and I don't have any clue how I started talking about this. But anyway, it's a back to the corporation thing. It's a level of respect that we just don't give each other as people anymore. And it's under the guise of, well, I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job. I'm a boss. I'm a manager. I'm a engineer. I'm a whatever. And I don't have to, I'm not a person right now. I'm doing this as a worker. I'm doing this as a clock number. And at the end of the day, that's fucking bullshit. You're still talking to people. Those people have families. Those people have children. Those people are going through horrible things, possibly, more than likely. And the idea that you can dictate somebody's life and even get them in some sort of quote unquote trouble, like we're children, because they might have to miss a few hours of work. That's a human being you're degrading. It might be a person that has worked for 20 years loyally to your company who needs time. They don't want it. They're not requesting anything. They need it. And it's not all right with you. It's I don't know. I don't know if anybody really thinks of it that way, and I don't even know if anybody should. But I have a real hard time not thinking of it that way. We're just human beings. We're fucking each other over all the fucking time. And I don't know what it means. I don't know where that goes. I don't know if it's something that's always been around or if it's something that's new and it's building. I don't know. All I know is the older I get, the less it makes sense. The less it makes sense to take from people like that. And I know that that's probably going to keep me in some level because I don't really plan on changing too much my viewpoint on that too much. I would love to discuss it with somebody who is maybe on the other side of the wall of that argument, but I know that the older I get, that's just going to cause trouble in my life. But it's something I'm willing to take responsibility for. So I think it's okay. I don't know. Huh. Jesus Christ. 35 minutes? What the fuck? This is actually going by decently. Again, I'm going to keep bringing it up. If people haven't heard yet, if you're listening along, I know there's a few people watching. My co-host Greg, who's usually here on Mondays, he's pregnant. He's pregnant. He's been pregnant for a couple months now. We've been keeping it low. He didn't get anybody pregnant. Greg Lohman is pregnant. Okay? Greg Lohman's pregnant. It's huge news. I mean, I think it's huge news for like humanity because a man is pregnant in the United States of America right now. I don't know if anybody really realizes how big that is, but I do, and I'm bringing it to the people. I mean, Greg doesn't know I'm saying this, so he's going to be embarrassed that I announced it, but I think our friendship's going to be better because of it, and I think he's going to be really excited to talk about it. And just in case you have anything to say to him about it, I would really appreciate anybody emailing Greg. Please email him and congratulations on the child. You can always do it right here.
Email us at john@thejohnbrownshow.com or greg@thejohnbrownshow.com for advice, you silly bitches.
Right there. Okay? I can't, Greg, I love you, buddy. I can't express how happy I am. I'm going to be the godfather too, just so everybody knows. We haven't discussed that. It's going to happen. I just can't believe my buddy is going to give birth. You know, it's an amazing, magical, like it's a warm feeling I can't really describe. Yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait to meet Gregoria. Yeah, it's a girl. Well, it's a girl boy, but it's mostly a girl that Greg will be giving birth to. Like they're gonna have to put Greg's legs in stirrups. And little Gregoria is gonna come out and just be like, "Rah!" And they're gonna be like, "Holy shit, a man just gave birth to a girl boy named Gregoria, and his name is Greg." How fucking weird is that? That's what the nurse is gonna be saying. They're gonna be stoned. I wrote down something. Oh, politics. They bore me. I think they kind of stink. That's really all I had on that. But I also found this clip. It's like a month old, but it just made me fucking laugh. So I figured I'd play it. Evidently, a male politician, Republican state representative Vito something. Barbieri, that's a fucked up name. from Idaho, sorry, sir, seem to think that swallowing a tiny camera, doctors would be able to determine the state of a woman's pregnancy. Hilarious. Yeah, so this guy makes a real, what I would call a boob of himself. Let's just go ahead and listen.
Just watch
along
this.
here.
This is from the Idaho legislature. They start talking about colonoscopies.
Rachel Maddow.
And things just go downhill from there. I swear we did not edit this. This really happened today because this is what today is like in
This
the
wasn't
news.
today. This was a month ago. Ish.
You mentioned the risk of colonoscopy. Can that be done by drugs?
Mr. Chairman, Representative Barbieri, it can not be done by drugs. It can, however, be done remotely, where you swallow a pill, and this
God.
pill has a little camera, and it makes its way through your intestines. And
I like
those
how she has to
images
talk to
are
him like he's
uploaded
4
to a
years old.
doctor who's often thousands of miles away, who then interprets that.
Follow up, Mr.
Representative
Chairman.
Barbieri.
Can this same procedure then be done in a pregnancy? Swallowing a camera.
Oh, he's
and
so nervous. Hold
helping
on, let's pause it. When he's the long pause and the swallow, and then he says swallowing a camera. This guy's a fucking boob. I'll go back a little bit. This guy's a fucking asshole.
swallowing a camera and helping the doctor determine what the situation is with the.
Mr. Chairman and Representative, it cannot be done in pregnancy simply because when you swallow a pill, it would not end up in the vagina.
Fascinating. that certainly makes sense, doctor.
Whoever laughs in the back of that room is a fucking genius. And I'm so happy that these shitty microphones picked it up so well. I have to hear that again.
Determine what the situation is with the.
Mr. Chairman and Representative, it cannot be done in pregnancy simply because when you swallow a pill, it would not end up in the vagina.
Fascinating. That certainly makes sense, doctor.
And then this fucking idiot just goes, fascinating. Fascinating. That certainly makes sense, doctor. Why would you say that? You obviously didn't fucking know. And also, if you did know, like, say this guy's not a bad person. He's just an idiot. So let's just say this guy is an idiot. Because, listen to the fucking guy. He's an idiot. But let's just say, like, maybe this guy is just super fucking busy being state representative guy. And he's tired. Maybe his kid that's probably not his because he obviously doesn't understand how a woman's body works. Maybe his kid is sick and he kept him up all night and he's just running on fucking fumes and he's like half put together with his suit all fucked up, right? And he says something like that. Like, can we swallow a pill and see how our pregnancy's going? Okay. Like, I would say something that stupid. I can admit it. I would say something that fucking dumb on autopilot, right? Just not really giving a shit, but being there and just saying something stupid. But this is the difference. When she answers it like, no, clearly that can't happen because of this. And then the chamber, whoever the fuck is in that room, that just loses their mind laughing. Like, it was like an Eddie Murphy, like when he plays a woman laugh, like that's what it was like. My next move would be, I'm dumb. I'm sorry. And I would laugh at myself. Like, and what a fucking idiot. Can you believe that I actually asked that question? And if he would have done that, nobody would have ever said a word, right? But what's he say? Fascinating. That really makes a little sense, doctor. Yeah, you're just a real fucking bucket of laughs there, buddy. Jesus. My only question is if the guy is married. I don't know if he is, but we're going to say he has a wife. Like, who's fucking her? Because it can't be him. I mean, can we check on the pregnancy with a pill? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? What a fucking guy kills me. Fascinating, doctor. I can never imagine being that guy. Like, I can't imagine even at my work. Like, when I have a meeting at my job, it is it's a huge exercise in displaying how much of a child I really am. And I say that with 47% shame and 51% not shame, 2% undecided. Yes, that math does add up. Any meeting I'm in at my job, it's a ticking time bomb to when I say something stupid or I start to fall asleep. And by saying something stupid, I mean saying something that might be construed as rude. Because I can't do it, and I don't want to do it, and I don't have any business doing it. I don't have any business listening to fucking terms that I'm not even quite sure what they mean in the context of the corporation. And every corporation has them, like corporate buzzwords, and they just fucking drive me nuts. And they drive me nuts, and I can't focus. I cannot focus at the task at hand. It's not my, and I don't want to ruin anybody's good time. I don't want to ruin the people who really get off on those buzzwords and are like really into it and they really get it and they really like, that's their life. I don't want to take that away from them, but I can't be like, why are you dragging me into this? I don't drag you into having fun. Why are you dragging me into this shit? We just recently had a meeting where this guy used system and systemic and systematic like fucking 7 times in a row in the same sentence. I'm like, how the fuck is anybody listening to this? It's like, the systemic changes are very systematic to the system itself. Well, the systematic changes will be very systematic within themselves in the systemic system, which is in itself quite systematic. And I'm just sitting there going, could I die, please? Just someone fucking kill me. Why can't a plane just come straight down on the fucking plant? I just can't. And that's like that personality. It's like the same guy where this guy just says the dumbest fucking thing. Can a pill check out a pregnancy? And then he gets kind of nicely called out on it. The person who laughed horribly in his face didn't have to do that, I guess. I know. I don't think I would have been able to stop myself from doing it. Oh, excuse me. But what's his answer? Fascinating. That makes a lot of sense, doctor. It's like, you can't just have fun with your dumbness. I'm having fun with my dumbness. I did it for 50 goddamn minutes in a row. This is a great. I hope they play this at my funeral. Just to show, like, they're like, yeah, I mean, we're kind of gonna miss him because he didn't fuck things up totally. But I mean, this is what we're losing. Like, it's not that bad. And like, they'll play this over like a eulogy, and everybody will feel way better because they'll be like, well, that's all that's missing. It's not, he's not curing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't have a problem being that guy. If it makes someone feel better, even if I'm gone, it'll make someone feel better, right? Make someone feel better. I've kind of thought about that too. Like, I don't, because everybody thinks about like what's right and wrong in life, and we also like, I know I've done it myself, and I'm sure everybody has, but I'll just go from my perspective. Where you try to do the right thing and you're not always sure if you're doing the right thing or why you're doing the right thing. And you do the right things and maybe they don't really pay off, right? Or they don't pay off in your brain, or they don't pay off at the moment. And then you see people around you who are doing, what would universally be considered the wrong fucking thing. And they're fine. They're successful people and they're happy and they have good things happen and good people around them, and like when they fuck up, good people go, well, but we love him, and it kind of makes you think like, fuck, what is the right thing to do? What's the right and wrong thing? It doesn't make any sense. And a human being's life is a pretty small amount of time, compared to this universe, compared to the planet, even compared to The species of human beings. I'm getting really long-winded here, but anyway, you know, a human being's lifespan is short, and how much can you really do? Right? You can do a lot in your small group or your small window, and some of us are very lucky in order to impact a large percentage of the population. Even like celebrities, like a celebrity who is entertaining a large percentage of the population compared to most human beings on the planet. And that's a huge responsibility. And but everyday human beings, like, what's the right thing to do and what's the best you can hope for? You know, and really I think it's simple enough. Like, if you're gonna have children, you know, do your best to raise the next generation. Obviously, I think that goes without saying, although it should be said more often, because I think it's taken very lightly. But really, on a very personal level of you are you, and you have an impact on the people around you, you don't necessarily have control over anything else. Like, what's the best you can do? And I really think the best you can do is to be remembered when you're gone as that you did all right. Like, a lot of people who do a good job right now won't get any credit for it. And they're going to do a good job every day, and they're going to shut up about it. And they're not going to brag about it. They're not going to complain about it. They're just going to continue to do a good job, and they're going to continue to do the right things and to do the best they can. And then they're going to be gone. And it's going to be people that you know right now, and it's going to be people that I know right now. And they're going to be gone. You're never going to see them again. And hopefully, if you do your part of being left behind, then you remember those people and you tell people how great they were. And because they did their job by being somebody who can be remembered as being great. And it might be something that they did for you 25 years ago. If it was great and they meant it, then it's worth it. And I don't know how the fuck I got here, but I think I'm about out of content if I'm talking about this part of life. Okay. But I'm going to end the show. I'll end it now with just a recap in case anybody's listening live right now and they just joined. You might hear this fucking psychopath rambling into a microphone right now, which is me. Hi, I'm John. How are you? The reason you're not hearing anybody talk back, it's not because the audio is fucked up. It's because Greg just had a lot going on. And I broke the news earlier. Greg doesn't know that I broke this news, but Greg is pregnant. Greg is pregnant with a little girl boy because he's a boy girl, obviously, because he's pregnant. He didn't get anybody pregnant. Greg Loman is 2 months pregnant. Like 2 months and an hour now after the show, because I announced it earlier. But Greg Loman is pregnant with Gregoria. It's amazing. And I'm so happy for my friend. I'm the godfather of it. I know he doesn't know that yet. We haven't even talked about it, but I mean, is there even a option? Really? You know, he's gonna have a little Gregoria, a little girl boy. She's gonna be the podcast baby. And I would really appreciate anybody who hears this if they could email Greg and just congratulate him on the child. It would make my fucking life because I'm just so happy for my friend. I'm so happy for my male friend that we all know and love, who is 2 months pregnant. It's just going to be amazing when Greg Loman gives birth to Gregoria. And if you'd like to email him, you can
Email us at john@thejohnbrownshow.com or greg@thejohnbrownshow.com for advice, you silly bitches.
You heard the man. So yeah, it's been real fun. It's kind of hard to believe that I went almost an hour. Sorry if it wasn't particularly funny. There were parts that were funny. I know there were, but yeah, I just figured I'd just come on here and talk. I didn't want to inconvenience anybody by last second trying to get somebody on here. And I hadn't done a podcast or a solo podcast in a long time. So yeah, next week should be back. The Greg, he can discuss his girl boy he's having, Gregoria. I'm just so happy for my friend. He's so very pregnant. Yeah, so that's it. I would tell Greg to say goodbye, but he can't. So I will say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening.